If you're a PM who wants to make a lot of money over your product career, then this video is for you. I'm going to tell you how you could lose out $2 million, $3 million, even $4 million over the next 10 years of your career if you don't negotiate your offer properly. To me, it seems self-evident that by joining Product Career Accelerator, any PM can significantly amplify their earning potential and their take-home, especially over the long term as their career progresses. And I'm going to demonstrate some of the stuff for you. I just ran some basic calculation in terms of what it might look like if you proceed with your career by yourself, or if you join the accelerator or get some other help in order to actually be proactive and push as much as you can with respect to your own compensation. As a PM, how many offer negotiations have you had in your career? If you're like most PMs who've worked for 3, 5, 10 years, you've gotten maybe 2, 3, or 4 roles, and you've negotiated usually precisely none of them. So you've got 0, maybe 1 offer negotiation. Whether or not it's successful is a second question. Inside the accelerator, we're coming up on 100 offers received. So we have significantly more offer negotiation experience. And that means we know what works, what doesn't, with which companies, how much we can push on which aspect of the compensation, in which time of the year, with which supporting evidence or not, and how it relates to team matching, and a myriad of other things that are important in this negotiation process. Now let's think about how many offers the recruiters have negotiated. Well, I'm guessing hundreds, right? Every recruiter does this over a period of many years, and all they do all day long is source candidates, move them through the process, and then negotiate their offers. And they are adversarially positioned with you. In other words, they win when you lose. It's a zero-sum game. I'm not saying the entire work relationship is a zero-sum game, not at all. But this particular offer negotiation process, where the company could either pay you $200,000 a year or $400,000 a year, is really a zero-sum game between you and the company. Like there's no additional value being created. It's either you take more or they take more. That's it. So it seems remarkably bizarre to me that people would prefer to go at it alone if their goal is in fact to have a long-term, financially rewarding product career. So I've mapped out a couple of different options for us. This is case number 1. Let's say you're an average product manager in the US. You don't necessarily work for top tech, but you've managed to get bonuses, some equity, and maybe have 5 to 7 years experience. So here you are, you're making $200,000. This is based roughly on our data set. We have thousands of applications that come in, and so we have a good idea of how much product managers are making across the US right now. It does vary widely according to geographies, but let's just take this case number 1. You're not a top tech PM. You're a regular tech PM. $200,000 in compensation. This still may feel significant for most folks outside of product management, but it's of course very, very little for people that are working in top tech product management, because it is a bimodal distribution, which is to say that there's a lot of people that are making 150 and 200,000 people, and there are also a lot of people that are making $500, $600, $700,000 and more that are both working as product managers. So theoretically should be paid similarly, but because of where they work, the compensation set is different. So here you are as a $200,000 PM, and you're working by yourself, and you're getting about 5% of a bump. You're targeting a 5% bump in compensation every year. Now, you're not going to get this every year by default. You have to, first of all, negotiate for it sometimes. You have to get bonuses. Sometimes you have to switch jobs and maybe push for a little bonus. So overall, let's say you're growing, and after 10 years, you're at about 310 for cumulative earnings over those 10 years of 2.5 roughly million dollars. But if you're working with PCA, in your very next role, where we're going to help you land that role, we're going to help you negotiate an offer that's substantially higher than you would have otherwise received. And we've got plenty of screenshots where we can share. Now that it's been some time after the offer, you can see what happens from an initial offer to a final offer negotiated by me and our team at PCA. So let's say we got you a conservative jump to 320,000. Now, as we continue growing here, normally 5% year over year, we will encourage and incentivize you to make the jump usually every 3 years if possible, or go for promotion every 2 years or earlier if possible in order to increase your compensation. In this particular scenario, I'm running us through a every 3 year hypothetical jump first to 320, like I said, pretty quickly within the first year. Then maybe on year 5, you're jumping into a big tech role at about L5 level, which is 500,000. Then at year 7 or 8, you're jumping into L6, which is 700,000 in the right geographies, of course, which brings your total compensation for 10 years to about $5 million. And the difference over just the next 10 years of your career is $2.5 million. And that's if you're a non-big tech PM working right now. Let's take a case if you are a big tech PM, which a significant portion of folks that are coming into PCA are. Here you are, you're a big tech PM, you're maybe mid-career or even junior, 3, 4, 5, 6 years experience. You're making $300,000 already, which is, again, pretty low for a big tech PM, but very high for ordinary PMs that are not outside of big tech. And we encourage you and we support you and guide you onto jumping right away into a bigger role that pays $500,000 immediately, which is, again, not outside of the ordinary at all. I don't want to minimize the effort that it takes to actually get your foot in the door, prepare for the interviews, actually get through the interviews, negotiate the offer. That takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of time. I don't want to minimize that. But it is definitely possible and doable, and we've had plenty of PMs that have done it. So let's continue along this path. You make the jump into 500,000. 3 years later, I've got you set up on an L6 career transition, whether internally or into another job, puts you at 700,000. And then 3 years later, you go for an L7 role if you're positioned well enough. We guide you to make sure that you've got the L7 skills and experiences and everything so that you can get the L7 role. And that puts you conservatively, actually, at 900,000. L7 role can pay anywhere from 800 to $1 million, depending on where you are. We're obviously not factoring in inflation or any of this stuff into these calculations. But here's what you got. You've got $7 million versus 3.7 on your own as a big tech PM for a delta of $3.1 million over just the next 10 years. And then, of course, you can go from there. But for most folks, this delta is life-changing. I mean, it completely changes the direction and trajectory of your life, career, and what you want to do. This is coming from thousands of applications. If you're in the relatively small camp of top tech PMs, maybe there's about 20,000, 30,000 of these across the country, this makes sense to you. But if you're any other PM, and there may be about 150,000 of you out there in the US, this may feel unfair to you or feels too high. It's a funny kind of situation where I may get comments where they say this is unreasonably high, and also some other comments that say this is kind of low, actually. Just wanted to show the profound difference that it can make from working with a team that's got your back and guides you and supports you on every step of the way in your career. So this is what it actually means to proactively build a fulfilling and personally and financially rewarding product management career. Our mission inside the Accelerator is to work with you during your entire career to unlock these things, guide you, and support you over the next, hopefully, many decades of your career. If you have any questions about any of this, please leave me a comment. Otherwise, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.